Good morning, comic book fans. Welcome back to Comics in 5 Minutes. I'm your Lovino Shorty, and today I'm going to be reviewing Shitkicker and Bullseye. And yes, that is the title of the comic book. Anyone who's come to this through social media will probably see that I've not tagged any of the creators in this. It's basically because I tend not to tag creators when I'm going to take a big dump on what they're doing. And unfortunately, I kind of have to on this one. It is not a great comic book, but there are reasons behind that. I'm not just going to say it's bad, don't read it. It is, if anything, an interesting failure. But I'm going to start at the end, or at least with the back matter, because the creator of this comic book has taken some time to actually get into some detail about what he was trying to do with this comic book, how hard it was, and how he's had to eventually get it made. Well, for people who have worked in publishing, they're probably aware of something called vanity publishing, which is effectively when somebody has a story they want to tell, usually in a book form, and they basically either can't get an agent or they have an agent that can't sell it to any publishers. There could be a variety of reasons for this. More often than not, based on my experience, it's either A, because it's a very, very niche title, like small local history kind of thing, or B, it is terrible. This falls distinctly into the latter, but a little bit into the former as well. It is a niche story. It is about a time-traveling stuntman. Strange that it's been written by a stuntman who is a very bitter man about the entire process. He clearly cares about what he's doing, and I don't want to take anything away from that one. He's clearly poured his soul into this, which was originally supposed to be a novel but never got picked up. Then it got made into, well, he wanted to get into a TV show but it never got picked up. And then he started making it into a comic book and it never got picked up. And at some point in his back matter little conversation, he takes the time to insult comic book professionals who don't have abs. He's clearly not happy with the way he's been treated, and thinks that he maybe is owed something. And the fact that he's written this comic book should be enough for the world to want to read it and people to want to get it published and for it to be out there. And that is sadly not the case, because it is, from start to finish, just a mess. And it's frustrating, because I think the idea is so bat poop crazy that a really good writer could take this and do something exquisite with it. I've finished Ninja Funk fairly recently, and it's almost got that same kind of vibe to it in terms of, here is the bunch of really rad ideas that I want to make into a comic book, and here's how I'm doing it. Because honestly, the first 6 pages of the comic book, I couldn't tell you what was going on at all. Not even a clue of what was going on. It was incoherent, no dialogue or even box out text at all. It was just, there was some text, basically showing that time was moving in odd ways, which gave me an idea. It's like, is this a time travel story? I guess. But there's very little cohesion or connectivity between what we're seeing. And when we do finally vaguely get an idea of what's going on, very, very late in part 1 of 3, before we finally realize basically what's going on, it still doesn't make anything else make any more sense. Why is he a time-traveling stuntman? What is going on? Who are these other people? There's a whole bunch of people referenced which don't even turn up in this first issue. We don't know how important they are. We don't know if they're good guys or bad guys. We don't really know enough to basically say that this is a coherent story. And that's not good enough for an issue 1. I at least want to know what's going on. It's only after reading the back matter that I'm like, oh, okay, I kind of get what you're doing now. This is effectively a time-traveling stuntman who's like the epitome of being great at his job, who also travels through time and messes things up, and he's gonna steal the treasure on the devil's train with the help of some other guy, but there's other people trying to stop him. It's such a ridiculous idea that it could be great. It could be so interesting and so fun and so out there, but it isn't, because he doesn't know how to write comic books. He's not a great writer. It is overfull with dialogue, it is dry and stilted, and it takes him like 3 sentences to get across one point. At one point he's telling a story and adds in a story within a story to get to the point, which is all done first person from one of the characters in it, who I still, at that point, didn't even know who he was or why he was doing what he was doing. It was just a mess. And if you want to talk about the artwork as well, I will at least give some credit to the artwork. There is some talent here, but it's talent in the way of somebody who has spent an awful lot of time as a child drawing Sergeant Rock fan comic books, and then got told, I want to do a story where it's a cowboy who's also a ninja who travels through time, who's a stuntman. And that's what it looks like. There's a bit where through his I imagine quite thick safety harness costume that he's wearing, you can still see the main character's abs. It feels just so stupid. I wish this was done better, because it could have been spectacular. but I'm really sorry. This is just from start to finish a raging dumpster fire, and I can't even say I'm interested to see how it turns out. I just kind of want it to end. Anyway, that's it. Hopefully there's going to be more cool reviews coming, because there's like 3 or 4 really cool looking things coming out later on, but I was so intrigued by this one I wanted to get into it first, and that's what happens. There's one more Bliss on Tap comic book coming. Let's hope that one's better. Until then, look after each other, everyone. Stay safe. Bye!